In the Farbrengen of Shabbos Parsha Shlach Tovshin Lamed Beis, the Rebbe said a very interesting thing. He said first the Hakdome, that lately they discovered something and they claimed that this is something that they just figured out and they're proud of it, saying that this is something that a generation or two ago they didn't know about it at all, and they are the one that discovered it. But the Rebbe says in truth, everything is from Torah, and here we see that even this that they claim they just discovered is also in Torah, it's in the Rambam, and it's based on a pasuk. And this is concerning the inyan that they call statistics. What statistics? The Rebbe said that even though on every individual, each individual, they cannot say in advance what he will do, but on a group, they could say in advance things that are going to happen. They're going to happen. They could say things are going to happen in a month, in a year, even in 10 years from now. And they know this because they see how these things happened many times before. So they could say in advance that this is going to happen exactly like this and like this. And we see B'Peil that they are right. It is the way they thought it will be. And they're proud of it. They figured out something very new that they didn't know about it before. They don't have an explanation how it works, but they say that this is the Metzias, this is the fact, but they figured out the Metzias. The Rebbe didn't give examples, but I'm just thinking of an example that they could tell you ahead of time that this and this weekend, so many accidents will be, etc., even though each person could be an accident, could be not. So it could be that no one will have, or it could be everyone will have, or chas v'shalom, it could be all kinds of things. Nevertheless, they tell you in statistics that this is going to happen. They usually write be'erech to what they did. So the Rebbe says this is something that they think they just figured out, but really this is written in Torah. The Rambam says in Hilchos Shuvah Perik Vov, after he speaks ba'ariches, that every person has free choice to choose to do right or do bad. So then the Rambam asks in Halacha Hey, how could the Eibusha say by the Brisbane Absorim that the Yidden will be in Mitzrayim and va'avodim v'inoisom and they will enslave them and oppress them? But how could the Eibusha say that's going to happen when they have free choice? So what will happen if everybody will choose not to do it and the Eibusha doesn't force a person to do it? So how could the Eibusha say ahead of time this is going to happen? And the Rambam answers that there's a difference between the Yochid and the Rabbim. That means that concerning an individual, he has free choice, and the Eibishter doesn't make it happen and won't say this and this is going to happen in advance, because it depends on his bchira. Nevertheless, when we talk about a group, so the Eibishter could say ahead that in the group there will be so many people like this and so many like that, even though each one has bchira and could choose one way, and they could all choose that one way. Nevertheless, the Rambam says in advance, you could say that in the group you're going to be something like this and something like that, and the Rambam uses the Lashon, the Eibusha only saying the Minhag Ha'olam, and this means the Minhag Ha'olam is, this is how it is going to happen. Because he's not speaking about the individual, he's speaking about a group, about a generation. The Rambam gives an example that the Eibusha could say that in this generation there will be tzaddikim and rishoyim, even though there is free choice. And what happens if everybody who has free choice could choose either way? Everybody will choose to be a tzaddik. So how could the Eibusha say there will be tzaddikim and rishoyim? Because when the talk comes to a group, the Eibusha could say it, and they calls it Minhag Shel. So this is not a contradiction to Bechira, the Rambam says. And the Rebbe says this answers the kashas of the Ravid, because in this Rambam, the Ravid has a long ariches with all kinds of kashas and says all kinds of sharp expression on the Ravid. And the Ravid says on the Rambam. But in truth, it's no kasha on the Rambam, because the Rambam considers this is no contradiction to the union of Bechira, because we're talking about the general thing. So here we see that what the people, science thinks, that they just figured something out right now in our times, it's written in the Rambam, and really it comes from a Beferish Pasik, where the Pasik says, Avodim v'inoisim, the Eibusha said ahead, because he's talking about the Tzibur. So here we see the concept of statistics is already written in the Rambam. Now the Rebbe doesn't explain here the Hasbara B'Dover, but he just says that this that they think they just figured out, really, it's already in the Rambam before, based on the Pasik. And based on that, the Rebbe also answers that by the Meraglim, the Eibusha said that all the people from that generation will die throughout the 40 years, but the children will go into Eretz Yisrael. And the question is, how could the Eibusha say it? Maybe that generation will also sin, because they have chira chofshis, they have free choice. So maybe they also won't be able to go. And how does the Rebbe say in advance it's going to happen? So according to this Rambam, it's understood. He's not talking about the individuals. The general generation, the Rebbe could say ahead, because the Bechira is on the Yochid, but the klal, the Tzibur, the klal, has the senior that they could say ahead of time, which is similar to the Indian statistics, but it's not something that they figured out, science figured out, but something that's already in the Torah a long time before.